Hi everyone. So today we're going to read about a little girl who's been missing for a year. And I just watched a special on her and had her on my mind. So her name is Lina Sardar Khil. And let's see if I can get, oh boy, you're getting quite the reflection on this, aren't you? Um, there maybe? You can see her a little bit. Little Afghanistan girl. Her parents were immigrants. They came over here thinking they would have a better life, and it hasn't turned out that way for them. Their little girl was outside playing. They live in an apartment complex, and a lot of other refugees live around them, is my understanding. Lena was outside playing um, in a little playground area, and it looked to me like it had a gate around it. But there were also reports that she was wandering around that day following different people. So she was outside at sometimes during the day, it sounds like by herself. Her mom said she went in to change the baby or something, and she came back out. She wasn't there. She went to go look for her, and she couldn't find her in the apartment either, thinking she'd gone back to the apartment. Um, and they thought, the family thought, the family, when I say that, is mother, Lena, there was the little baby, and then they've now had another baby. But at that time, they thought that perhaps another Afghan family had her because it wouldn't be uncommon for someone to, take her thinking, oh, she's a lost child. Well, we'll find her parents and then we'll return her. So that night, they say when they went to bed, they just thought, okay, somebody's got her and tomorrow they'll bring her back. This would not be all that unusual in their culture, is my understanding from what they were saying. There's been lots of searches for her. They never heard a thing. And then the police literally are saying they don't have anything that looks promising. So that's really sad because, she's was 3 years old when she disappeared last year, right outside of her apartment building. And now the FBI, or actually the FBI, I believe, has been involved for a while. And they don't really have any clues. So I thought we'd see what the cards say. It sounds like there were psychics involved. I heard that on the little clip I watched today, which was about 20 minutes, and I'm going to link it in the comments below. But none of what the psychics said panned out either. So let's see what we get today, because that's always interesting. And let's hope for the best as we begin about Lena, but we also hope for the truth, regardless what that is. We hope for the truth today. And what I pray before I always start my readings is just that I'll be a conduit for knowledge, that the information comes through will not be from me, but from Spirit, that they'll use me to bring forward the truth, that the words coming out of my mouth are their words, not mine. So I like to take myself out of it because myself will be wrong. My logical mind is like anybody's logical mind. I don't want this to be me. I want it to come from the universal knowledge, the spirits, the guiders, the guides, and every beautiful being in the universe that can work with us when we reach out to them. And that's what I call for today. All right, so the first thing we're going to read is that was Lena kidnapped? Because it appears she was. I can only think of two scenarios. She was kidnapped, or she wandered away and like fell in a sewer, or a pond, or in something like that, and was never found. That is a possibility too. But those are the only two possibilities I can think of. So she was kidnapped, or she wandered away, meaning she wandered away and kind of got into a trouble situation that she couldn't get out of. But I'm very much leaning towards kidnapped, even if the person didn't know they were kidnapping her at the time. But let's just see what the cards say. Let me not speculate too much. Was Lena kidnapped? Meaning the person took her and did not return her and did not take her to the police. Decided to keep her. So tell us about Lena being kidnapped. Okay, so we have this card right here. Well, I don't like that card at all. The Tower is not a good card to start with. And I was hoping for a good reading, but we did pray for the truth as well. The Tower's calamity, bad things happening unexpectedly. That's not a good card to start off with. If we're getting this for kidnapped, I'm going to say yes, she was. And it doesn't look like it was a good situation. That's too bad. I didn't expect that, to be honest with you, but let's see what else happens here. So we got that tower for kidnapped. I'm leaning obviously towards kidnapped. That's what it looks like. Let's ask about her wandering away and just getting into a situation that she disappeared on her own with no other person involved. Let's ask about that, but with that tower. Her wandering away, getting into a situation where she couldn't come home on her own, no one else involved. Not looking good. Poor baby. Okay, wandering away on her own. Well, I don't think she did. I think this is pointing us towards two people took her, and I'm saying that because we have two people in the lovers and we have two people in the tower, and you can see that two people that appeared to have good intentions. This is, if you really look at this card, it's a depiction of Adam and Eve in the garden falling to temptation and being judged. And unfortunately, it looks like somebody fell to the temptation and then things for the little one didn't work well. That's what I'm saying. Wish I was saying something else, but we did ask for the truth, and this is what is coming through in the cards. All right, it's cold in this room. It's cold outside today. Let's ask, the police said they do and have had some suspects. So let's ask if one of those suspects that the police has had is actually the person who took her. Thought that was a good question. I just kind of formulated these questions after watching that little documentary about her. So tell us about Lina and those suspects that the police identified so far to date, and is one of them the person who actually took her and made her disappear? Tell us about that. All right, we've got some cards in here that we're going to look at a little better. Tell us about one of the police's suspects throughout this year being the person that took her. Yeah, we've got two cards on this. So the Nine of Cups, that's a wish card. That sometimes can mean underwater, a person getting their wish, though. It is interesting because think about Afghan men. Honestly, this guy kind of reminds me of an Afghan man. And I say that because he's wearing a robe, he's wearing, the traditional headdress. It just makes me think along those lines. I'm not liking this card either. Not good cards for little Lina. This unfortunately is my card that often means the person has their wings as an angel. It does, to me, look like it might have been somebody who was an Afghanistan person, possibly. There may be a water element here, too. Because I often, when I get that Nine of Cups, there's a water element to it. We're going to ask more about where she is and where she can be found. Not good cards. I do think it is one of the current suspects. And I'm saying that because we've got the Nine of Cups, the person sitting there proudly and defiantly. I'm going to ask a little bit more about that to give me a little bit more interpretation on that. So far, I'm thinking it's another Afghanistan person, one of the other immigrants. Tell me about that person who made her an angel. Unfortunately, is what it looks like. And as a current suspect, tell me more about that person being a current suspect. And you know what we'll do? We'll compare cards, because sometimes when I do this, yes and a no is better to get the actual answer that I want. So tell me about that person, yes, being one of the police's suspects throughout this last year, and then we'll ask about a no. So tell me, is it a yes? Tell me about that person being one of the police current suspects. And this is a good way for those of you who are reading tarot. You know, you'll hear a lot of people say, well, you can't ask yes or no questions. Yes, you can. You can just compare them. So you ask, tell me about it being a yes, and then you pull another card for tell me about it being a no. And you can look at those two cards as we're about to do. So tell me about it being a yes for this person being a current suspect or a suspect throughout this last year. And we've got two cards again. That's the Nine of Swords. Notice Nine of Cups and Nine of Swords. I wonder how many suspects there are. Nine seems to be a important number here because it's come through twice. And I do feel these people were arguing, fighting, worried. The suspect is worried, very worried. I feel like someone else knows about the suspect. And then the Eight of Cups. And again, we have the cup theme. We've got the Eight of Cups and then the Nine of Cups. So the Eight of Cups is turning away from your foundation, the good things that you've built up, things that you know are good, that you know are right, and going off into the moon. Moon is an anxiety, potentially card. We've got the Nine of Swords being eaten up by your thoughts. I do think this, from what this is showing me, that this was somebody that is a suspect, that the police thought was a potential suspect, because this person's really, really worried that they're going to get found out. They know what they did was wrong. You know, the Eight of Cups is going off into the dark, doing things you know aren't right. But we're going to ask for the no card. And to me, it's a yes, honestly. But let's ask for the no card. Somebody who is not on the police's suspect list. So someone who is not a suspect. Tell us about that. That actually is the person who took Lina. Tell us about it not being a police suspect. Let's see what we get. Not on the suspect list. Tell us about it not being on the suspect list. Again, we've got two cards. This is the Seven of Cups. 7, 8, 9 of Cups now. Seven of Cups is somebody who made bad choices, but is in the shadows. It's not somebody really known. So again, it's not clear to the police who this is. You can see all the clouds that make it unclear. The person's in the shadows that makes it unclear. Everything in the cups looks one way, but actually is something else potentially. Might look like you're pulling something good out of that cup, but it has bad consequences. They don't quite know who this person is. I think they may have suspected this person, but they're not. They definitely aren't sure. They don't have, kind of what they see is not what they get. They really don't have anything on this person whatsoever. It's like a figure that may be a suspect, but there's nothing there. There's nothing pointing to that person. And then we have this Four of Pentacles. And the Four of Pentacles is again a man. I feel like a man because we got that Nine of Cups there, but it may be a couple. I did feel couple in the beginning. And this Four of Pentacles keeps things close and hidden, and he's kind of greedy, to be honest with you. Sometimes this can stand for bullet holes. I'm just throwing that out there because I can. I mean, I don't want to say that's what it is, but it has stood for that in other readings. This person, I don't know, this person just thinks about himself. I don't think he's a very good person, to be honest with you. Don't think he's a very good person. Very self-serving. Very self-serving is what I'm getting from this person who took her. Did she know the person who took her was another one that I was going to ask. So tell us about Lina. knowing the person who took her. Her as a little girl, had she seen this person before? Did she know him? I do feel it was a man. It might have been two men. Tell me about Lena. Did she know the person who took her? Yeah, I kind of feel like it might be two men. I don't think they were that old. Did Lena know the person who took her? Like um, late teens or early 20s, maybe? No, I guess they could be in their 20s. Did Lena know the person who took her? I think they put her in their car. Did Lena know the person who took her? Oh, that's the King of Pentacles. So that is somebody who owns things, who has things, has some power. Was it somebody who came there in a business kind of sense? I think vaguely, very vaguely. Maybe I'd seen the person before. I mean, I don't want to throw some thoughts out going through my head who this might be because then the internet goes crazy. But who around there had some sort of ownership of things? Was someone that people looked up to, maybe owed money to, that sort of thing. Look into those things. Okay. More importantly, we're going to ask, does the family know this person? Does the family know the person who took Lena? Does her family know this person? Know of them? Doesn't have to be like they know them great, but do they know of this person? Again, I just keep seeing two guys in my head. And in my head, they don't look like they'd be King of Pentacles type persons, but does the family know family? Does the family, not just Lena, but the whole family, father or mother, I guess. I don't know about this first one. What's the second one? Yeah, I think it's both. Well, this is the World card. The World card is, often, unfortunately, a missing person readings. And now we've got the Tower, the Temperance, and the World card. This person could have taken her out of this world. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. These aren't the greatest cards for this little girl. And then we have the Sun. Sometimes the Sun also is like, for me in these readings, making the person like a free spirit. Not the greatest cards at all. There may have been some vague knowledge of this person, vague. And this person may have had a child too, potentially. But I also feel like young guy, like 20s. It's conflicting information. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense yet. I wish I could just say it made sense, but it doesn't quite. It says because she's still in San Antonio. Tell me about Lena being in San Antonio and whether that being, alive in a breathing body or, unfortunately in her physical body is what we're looking for, her physical human body. Tell me about Lena being in San Antonio. It's weird because when I started this reading, I honestly felt good about this girl, but then we started off with the Tower and we've got some other cards that just don't look so hot. Tell me about her physical body still being in San Antonio. Tell me about Lena. Where's her physical body? Tell me about it being in San Antonio. Okay, I'm getting this card right here. That is, again, the 9. Listen, 9 is important here. I don't know quite what it means, but this is the 9 of Pentacles. And I feel like it might be. Now, this is a woman who's dressed in the whole deal, you know, in a gown. And I felt like that might be an Afghan family that had something to do with her. I do feel it was like an immigrant family, not Afghan, something else. Um, and here's a woman. That's kind of this woman always to me is someone who's got some things captured. You know, she's got that bird captured like you would maybe a child. Um, it's always made me wonder. You know, like I feel like this person had her. It seems like in San Antonio. I'm gonna shut my door because I know the dogs are gonna get loud in a minute here. All right, back to Lina. Lina. Um, we're just gonna ask. Um, it looks like she is in San Antonio. That's what I'm getting from that. Um, but I want to know where her physical earthly human body is. So that physical earthly human body. Um, tell me where it is. Give me a card that represents the area where she is. What's the truth about Lina's physical body? Tell me the truth about Lina's physical body, her earthly body. Where is it? Where can it be found? Well, it's the Ace of Cups. It's often water. And I told you we saw a water element right away with the guy kind of smug up in the top, the Nine of Cups. If there's water with nine being relevant, we've got a lot of nine stuff around here. And then, of course, we've got the magician. Of course we do. He hit her in the water, was what it's telling me. I'm not surprised. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm being a little more blunt in this reading, but that's might be by a bridge, possibly by a bridge. Sometimes we get that Ace of Cups when it's by a bridge. Not what I wanted to see. But maybe, I don't know, maybe this can help. How can Lena's physical body be found is what we are going to ask next. Lina, how can her physical body be found? Can she be found? Tell us about how Lina can be found. How Lina can be found. This is going to be one of those readings that I end with. Well, 85% of readings are right, but 15% are wrong. Maybe this is wrong. You know, it's just sometimes you hope it's wrong. It's just the cards I'm getting aren't good for this girl. Tell me how her physical body can be found. It's definitely the first one. Not sure about the second one. Keep getting drawn to the first. Let's read the first. Again, a lot of detective work, a lot of detective work. Remember we got this card, Quentin Simon. You remember how much they had to search of that landfill before they found him? It was a huge amount. And again, I just feel like this is going to take a lot of work. We are going to ask if she will be found, but the detectives really have to work at it. I know the FBI is on the case, so you know, you just hope that they will put the work into it. It's going to take a lot for this one, though, is what I'm saying. Um, I'm just going to go ahead and ask about her current physical state, just because the cards just are leading me in a bad area, and it looks like she's in water from what I'm seeing. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask. Tell me about her current physical state, about her body, um, her being in a breathing body, warm, or her being in spirit. It looked like when I got that little the sun. Sometimes for children to be a free spirit. This is my card for it, you know. And then we've got Temperance, which is the angel. I mean, the cards are just, they're not looking great. But let's just ask, because that gives searchers better knowledge of the areas they should search. And I do feel like she might be in water. Tell me about her current physical state. Is she in a breathing body or is she in spirit? Oh, we've gotten a lot of she's in spirit kind of cards. So it makes me think she is, unfortunately. Lina, Sardar, Khil. Khil, tell me about her current physical state. Second one for sure. I think it's both. Okay. Um, hmm. This is the nine, nine again, nine of wands. We've got every single nine in the deck, and I have not pulled that many cards. What is it with nine? Honestly, there's something about nine here. And I hope it's not like it takes 9 years for her to be found. But there's something with nine. I leave that with investigators. And then, you know, this is like a wounded card, the nine of wands. Her current physical state, and then this is a good card to be showing up, Ace of Swords, but it does make me worry because this is a card that shows me she probably will be found, or you know, eventually. But it, with the nine and the Ace of Swords being my finder card, it might be a while. That person is like totally protecting all their secrets, and they've got a lot of them. They're being very, very protective of this. So meaning it's not somebody I think who's going to crack. It's somebody who's going to be like who's very wary, and they are very wary. We saw that with the nine of swords too. This is somebody who keeps their secrets and keeps them inside. Doesn't tell a lot of people about it. So that's what's making it even harder for everyone, because it's not like this person's sharing any knowledge with anyone. They have to really work at this. It may be a while, guys. It may be a while. The current physical state, it told us more about the situation. The guy does have a bandage on his head. But from the other cards, I'm not getting a good vibe from this. I'll just leave it at that. Closest known landmark to where she is. When I'm asking for a landmark, I'm asking for something that most people would recognize and understand. A lot of the time, I don't understand this card. If you go back to that Kenny the Land reading, it was a queen. And I was saying something about royalty and things like that. Well, I think he was found in like Spain, right? The place he was in, France, did not have a queen, but Spain did. So I just thought that was interesting. It may mean something like that I'm not going to know. I had to look that up. I didn't pay attention in class. So tell me about the closest landmark. You guys may know this. If you're in San Antonio, is where she disappeared from. Closest physical landmark, but it may, you know, be somewhere else. So keep that in mind. Closest physical landmark to where Lina, her physical body, can be found. You know, the minute I don't say her physical body, they'll show me a picture of clouds or something if she's passed. The cards are very literal, extremely literal. Closest known landmark. Okay, so closest known landmark. Tell me about the closest known landmark. It's the second card, yeah. Well, this is the Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands is things going really fast. There's water there, but what goes really, really fast by the water? It looks like there's a house on the hill in the distance. Let me just put my hand over this. Eight of Wands. Tell me a little bit more about that Eight of Wands. This thing's going really fast. Now, we did get this right after the Nine of Wands, the person being kind of hurt, the police, and very protective. The police kind of catching on, and now we've got the Eight of Wands, and I'm just going to say this is more like it's telling me a story of what's going to happen. This person is going to be extremely defensive, but then things are going to move really quickly. So they're going to give up nothing, but then they're going to find stuff. And I think this case will all of a sudden, like, boom, change like that really quickly. I know that's not answering our question, but hey, I have to listen to the information that's coming through because it's coming through for a reason. I'm going to ask again for the closest known landmark. Tell me about the closest known landmark. It's by water. Closest known landmark. Tell me about the closest known landmark. Okay. And there is that house on a hill, which I'm being drawn to again. House on a hill by water. But let's ask for a little more information on the landmark. Tell us more about the closest known landmark to where little Lina can be found. Closest known landmark. Oh, well, look at this. King of Swords and Queen of Cups. Remember we had the information about a couple? Yeah, I thought maybe a couple had taken her because, and I said that because we had the Tower and then we had the Lovers. Now the Tower could be an accident too. Did they accidentally? Okay, I hate to say these things, but you know, remember what happened to the little girl with the FedEx truck? And those people freaked out. You know, here's a couple. I don't know though. Looks like they took her. That's what I'm getting. So closest common landmark. Where is she? It's this couple. It's this couple, man and a woman. The man, woman's got kids. I just want to say I don't think it's her parents because I know people are going to see this and they're going to head in that direction. Her father seems really sincere, and I'm not getting that feeling from him at all. But there is another couple. There is another couple. There is. This family. They're the closest known landmark. A family. I've never had that before. King of Swords and Queen of Cups. I don't know. Mm, let me ask a little bit more about them. Tell me more about this King of Swords and Queen of Cups. Tell me more about the King of Swords and Queen of Cups, because in my head I saw two boys, you know, 20s taking her. Now we've got this old, you know, older couple established. Tell me more about these King of Swords and Queen of Cups. Mm, that's not good. This is the Five of Swords, and that's somebody just kind of being ruthless, not caring about others. It does not make any sense. To be honest with you, this reading doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But again, we saw that whole greedy thing, greedy guy right here. The Four of Pentacles. Got the King of Pentacles over here. And, you know, next to him is kind of a card similar to what we've got over there. She's our independent lady, that Nine of Pentacles. Now we've got the Queen of Pentacles, or I'm sorry, King of Swords, Queen of Cups. And when I ask about more about them, there's just this ruthless kind of meanness. I don't care about you. I will hurt you. And I think those two people are her parents. And this person doesn't care. It's so like mean, and I don't understand why anyone would ever want to be this mean. But this Queen of Cups is so focused on her, what she wants, and all those babies around her. It does feel like maybe this little one was kidnapped. Somehow it didn't. It feels like it didn't have a good outcome. I don't quite understand it. I just don't. But let's ask if she'll be found. Little Lina, will she be found? Tell me about her being found. We already had the police card coming in, making its presence known. Why these people would be so mean, I just don't understand. Tell me about Lina being found. her body, whatever. Tell me about her being found. This is the Two of Pentacles, and that again tells me it kind of can go both ways. Doesn't seem like it's for sure yet. And then this is the Six of Pentacles. Again, I just feel like it's somebody who had a little bit more power than the parents. Somebody that the parents may have paid money to or something. When that came out before with that King of Pentacles, somebody that was higher than them, that they may have owed money to or something. They may have owed money. And this person was ruthless. I would look into that. Did the parents owe someone money? This person is just ruthless. Yeah, I would look a little closer. Who did the parents owe money to? Even if it wasn't like and I'm not saying like drugs or anything like that. I don't get that vibe at all. But was there someone that they owed money to or something, even if it was like a barter trade kind of something like that? There's something weird here. There's something weird here. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that because I don't know about this situation. I don't know, like, but again, we had that King of Pentacles, somebody that was higher up, and we kept getting that theme throughout here. And then we've got, last but not least, the whole somebody they owe money to. I don't know if she'll be found. But they need to look into money. And I'm saying that because these are our pentacles, right? Money, 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 money. Two of Pentacles, Six of Pentacles. When I asked about them working hard to, how can she be found? We've got a card with pentacles on it. Over here, we've got cards with pentacles on them. I hate to say it, but this person may have wanted to hurt her parents. That sounds terrible. This person's really greedy. Greedy about money. That's what keeps coming through here. So check into that. Check into that. Who did mom, dad owe money to? Make promises to that they weren't able to keep? Yeah, that's what I'd look into. Man and a woman. Man is a king, elevated above them. Yeah, this is horrible. I'm going to shut it off now because really it's disturbing. To be honest with you, it's very disturbing. And I was hoping for better news, but hey, maybe that information helps in some way. All right, take care, people. Bye bye.